Hey there, welcome to Tim Talks Cooking. I'm Tim, and today I'm making keto cream vegetable soups. The first one I'm going to make with asparagus, and the second one with celery. These are classic, simple, delicious, easy recipes. I think you're going to love them. In fact, I'm going to use the same ingredients pretty much, except for the vegetable I'm going to switch out. So that's why I'm doing these two recipes together. I'm also going to show you the macros for each recipe at the end of the video, so stick with us. Let's get started. Now here I'm heating up 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, and they're nice and hot, so I'm going to put my onions in there. It's about 2 tablespoons of onion, about an ounce of onion. And I'm just going to saute this up. We want the onions to be translucent, maybe a little caramelized actually. And I'm just going to let them go here for a while, stir them around occasionally. Add a little salt, about 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and also a little freshly ground black pepper. And here you can see they're starting to caramelize. They're getting a little brown here. We're going to add in next, after we stir them up, you can see they're just about where we want them. I'm going to add in 1 clove of chopped garlic. There we go, get all of it in there. Give it a stir, and when you smell that garlic aroma, it's time to add in the next ingredient. In this case, it's 1 pound of chopped celery. That's 500 grams about. We're just going to get it all in there. Here we go. Stir it up. And next I'm going to cover this with chicken stock. You could use vegetable stock or whatever stock you like. And I'm just going to cover it here with chicken stock. And so that was 750 milliliters, about 3 cups of chicken stock here. Use whatever amount you need to cover yours. Put the lid on it and bring it to a boil. In this pot, it's a little bit bigger because I've got a little more asparagus. Here, I'm going to heat up 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And when it's nice and hot, I'm going to put in some onion. Here, this is about 1/2 cup of chopped onion, about 100 grams of onion, more or less. Give it a stir. Want to get it nicely coated in the oil. And just as before, we're going to soften the onion. We want it to turn translucent. And here we go. It's cooking away really nicely here. I'm going to add in some seasoning, a little salt, about 1/4 teaspoon, and some freshly ground black pepper, up to 1/2 teaspoon or so. And now they're just about where I want them. They're just starting to brown here. So I'm going to add in my garlic. This is 3 cloves of chopped garlic. Get all of it in there. I don't like to leave anything behind. There we go. Give it a stir. Right away, that aroma is going to pop right on out of there. And so here I'm going to add in my asparagus. I've got 1.5 pounds, that's 750 grams of asparagus that I've cut into 2-inch sections or so. And I've saved some of the tops for garnish later on, as you can see here. I'm just going to give it a stir real quick. And just like I did with the celery, I'm going to cover this in chicken stock. Here, this is going to take roughly the same amount, actually. About 750 milliliters to a liter. That is 3 cups to 4 cups of chicken stock. Really depends on your asparagus and your pot and everything. Anyway, so here, give it a stir. And we're also going to bring this to a boil. There we go, cover it up. Our celery has come to a boil here, and I'm going to turn it down and let it simmer for about 10 minutes or until it gets tender. Here's our asparagus, and it's now boiling. Here we're going to simmer this for about 5 minutes, so turn that down. Doesn't take quite as long to cook as celery. So here's after 5 minutes. Our asparagus is nice and tender. I'm going to turn the flame off and move on to the next step, which is to puree it. Here I'm just going to transfer it into my blender and let her rip and puree it until it's a nice smooth mixture like I've got here. And then I'm going to pour it back into the same pot I used. And I'm going to do the same with the celery mixture. Here we are. Get it in there. I'm going to puree it and transfer it back into the pot that I used to cook it in the first place. And here we are with the asparagus on the stove top over low heat. I'm going to add in some cream here to make this just really yummy. Here I'm going to add in a half a cup of heavy whipping cream. I don't want to heat it up too quickly or it'll separate. And here I'm just going to stir it in gently. And there we go. It's really very nice. So here we'll give it a taste for seasoning. As you can see, it's the same procedure with the cream of celery soup. Here we're going to make a cream of celery by adding 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream and gently stirring it in over low heat. There we go. And of course, as always, before you serve, you want to give it a taste for seasoning. Well, all right, let's give them a taste. Now here first is the celery soup. Cream of celery. Oh, that is so good. I really like the sweetness of the little caramelization I got there on the onions. Wow, that is really good. And the asparagus, do you suppose it's any good? Gee, I don't know. Let's give it a shot. I think it's probably going to be okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I got to say, cream of asparagus soup is one of my favorite winter soups. I hope that you'll try these recipes. Before we go, let's talk about macros. Here's what I've got. For the asparagus soup, it comes down to a total of 1,066 calories, 17.4 grams of net carbs, 32 grams of protein, and 89.15 grams of fat, to be very precise. Now, per serving, I say this makes 6. You might want to cut it into 8 servings, so do your own math for that. 6 very generous servings of this lovely soup. Each one has 178 calories, not bad, right? 3 grams of net carbs, 5.4 grams of protein, and 15 grams of fat. For the celery soup, check it out. Oh, we made a little bit less of that, so it's going to be a little different. The total for the whole soup was 617 calories, 12.7 grams of net carbs, 16.3 grams of protein, and 55 grams of fat. Per serving, and I cut that into 4 generous servings, that makes per serving 154 calories. So pretty similar, right? 3.2 grams of net carbs, 4 grams of protein, and 14 grams of fat. Listen, I really hope you'll try these 2 recipes. I also hope that you will like this video, give it a thumbs up, that you'll share it, especially on Facebook, that you will comment on it here, and that you will subscribe to my channel. Helps my channel grow, helps you find my videos. Thanks so much for joining us here today at Tim Talks Cooking, huh? We'll catch you next time.